Are you ready for the Low Blows Network? Every Wednesday on the Low Blows Network, the Low Blows team are at hand to break down, analyze, and make fun of all things pro wrestling. Hosted by former pro wrestler Rick Nash. I think the only reasonable thing we can do now is turn John Cena heel.
Selfie with me fucking dog.
Banned from Nigeria. I will be talking to the government tomorrow morning. YouTube star Corporate King.
This elephant has 4 legs. Still wrestles 4 legs. Joseph Stalin, if he had 2 more legs.
Bonesaw rips off his shirt, yeah, and says, "Chuck your law, big dirty tricolour."
And the Queen of Irish Wrestling, Katie Harvey.
I want one to sign just CM Punk.
So embarrassed. CM Punk.
It's Low Blows.
We're going to get kicked off with some wrestling talk straight off the bat, because I was reading an interesting debate online, and it immediately set my brain on fire because I started debating and it's one of these things, it's the best kind of debate where you can make a case for all the main players, but there's no one conclusive wrong or right answer, and it's one that interests us all. So I want to get started with, in terms of when we look back 10, 15 years from now, we'll say their careers stop today. In terms of who is the most you have to pick one, the most successful Irish wrestler of this generation. So you're looking at Becky, Sheamus, Balor, or someone else. Who would you pick? You have to pick one. You can't sit on the fence and be like, haven't they all done very well? Who's the most successful? Who will we look back as their achievements are the best?
Becky.
Okay.
I don't know. She's done the most.
Okay.
She's won titles. She's main evented WrestleMania. She's created history. She's the biggest star in the world right now. Is there somebody above Becky?
Here's where it gets interesting for me, because it becomes one of these things. It's in terms of the biggest achievement, yeah, Becky's done things that Becky's done something in main eventing WrestleMania that Ric Flair didn't do. You know what I mean? That Jake Roberts didn't do, that Dusty Rhodes didn't do. You know, so her biggest achievement is better. But then when you look at the breadth of someone's achievements, Sheamus has won a lot more titles than her. He's done a lot more. He's been WWE champion, he's Grand Slam champion, Royal Rumble, King of the Ring. He's done pretty much everything. So
the only thing Sheamus hasn't done is Main Event Mania, and what's the other one? He's not a Grand Slam champion because he didn't win the Intercontinental, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
So, but that's besides that, he's literally won everything else: Rumbles, King of the Ring, titles, everything. But then, I also look at Becky and I'm like, well, Becky was never going to get the opportunity to get the US title or the Intercontinental, do you know what I mean? Or King of the Ring or shit like that. She still managed to win a Royal Rumble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's only been 2 female winners of the Royal Rumble ever, and she's already won one. Main evented Mania, became a double champ, you know what I mean? My first thought was Sheamus because, again, I'm thinking on paper, but no, I think it has to be Becky. It's just and yeah, I know Balor was the first Universal Champion and all that, but he doesn't come close to Sheamus or Becky if we're talking
okay,
on screen titles and stuff.
I would agree on the face of it. If you're looking at purely listing their achievements, if you look at influence on the industry, then you have to look at Balor. Balor invented the Bullet Club. Because we had the Bullet Club,
yeah.
New Japan became big. Because New Japan became big, now we have AEW. What are they an offshoot of? The Elite. The Elite are an offshoot of the Bullet Club, which Finn Balor invented. Finn Balor came up with all of that. Finn Balor brought back Too Sweet. Finn Balor made people, because of his idea, he shaped the industry that we know today. And that was his idea that started all of that. Revitalized New Japan. Recaptured people's interest outside of WWE, which indirectly led to AEW. That's pretty fucking big in terms of overall influence on the business.
Yeah, but Becky is a historical influence as well. You know what I mean? She's genuinely made history. She's done things that haven't been done before. And you're talking about influence, like how many girls do you think have started wrestling in the last 2 years because of Becky?
Very true.
Like how many girls are taking up different kind of roles in wrestling because of her? In Ireland, like the boom it's mostly because of Becky, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if you showed those 3 pictures to general people on the street, I think more people would recognise Becky at this stage than the other 2.
But here's another counterpoint to it. And I'm not I'm not taking shots at Becky because I think she's the heavy favorite because she's main event at WrestleMania. That's bigger than anything anyone else has ever done, okay? But you could argue, if you were arguing for the others, that she had one big year as a main eventer in WWE as a main, she's had SummerSlam last year, so yeah, a year from now, because she only really blew up in terms of being the face of the company around a year ago with the Ronda Rousey thing. Do you know what I mean? So she's had 1 year at the top, whereas Sheamus has been around for 10, 12 years in competing. Balor was nearly named the first ever if he'd have stayed on, the plan was for him to be the first ever co-IWGP and junior heavyweight champion.
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
But
that nearly happened.
For him, no. But for if you consider the level of difficulty that he's done, Sheamus had nobody had ever made it from Ireland. Sheamus was the first guy to make it from Ireland, from the Irish indie scene to WWE. I'm just saying, there's a lot of variables. You would say Becky based off the WrestleMania main event. There's a lot of variables in there.
Yeah, first Irish person.
Balor was the first person to make it big in Japan. You know what I mean? Would have been.
Yeah. I see. It depends what angle you're taking it from. If we're talking
this is why it's a good debate.
Do you know what I mean? I'd still go with Becky, but it is actually a lot closer than I realised. Fuck, I can't believe Balor fucking. That is a mad when you think about how it's a lad from fucking Wicklow started. What led to
why
AEW?
would someone from Wicklow not be able to do that?
Because it's random.
It's not.
Wicklow's got fucking.
It's the best county in Ireland.
I know.
It is the Garden of Ireland. It's beautiful.
You have fucking
Who says the garden is the best place?
Yeah, the garden's boring.
Why do you say the garden? Oh, because it's the garden.
Yeah, we got Tala. Tala's dead. We got Leisureplex. Do you even have a Leisureplex?
No, you're not putting Tala up against.
Tala is way better than
Wicklow.
Tala would fucking. Yeah, Tala'd knock out Wicklow.
We've got the Burn and Lidl of Ireland.
Yeah, it's iconic. What iconic imagery? I don't know. Wicklow has fucking
Brayhead.
Balting glass. When have you ever been Balting glass? Do you know what I mean? Would you be arsed? No.
We have more than Balting glass.
Yeah, but you have that, and it's just there, and it's not doing anything. So, what's the point? Whereas Dublin, everywhere is doing something. You might not like Darndale, but you know it because it's always doing shit. You know what I mean?
It is always in the news, to be fair.
They keep that shit relevant. You know what I mean? I respect that in a way.
As always, we start on one thing and then just end. Wherever we end up, who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, it's another. And look, it's one of those things that's nothing to do with. And we've had a huge week in wrestling, and we haven't covered any of it yet. We are going to cover it all, guys. Welcome to Low Blows. Rick Nash, Katie Harvey, Corbin Keane back in the house. As always, we have a big week because there's been a huge week in wrestling. CM Punk is back in WWE. What the fuck? We're going to be talking about that and trying to process it as we go on as well. AEW Full Gear got a lot of people talking. Moxley against Omega, splitting opinions. We're going to try and weigh in on that. But first, before we get to the in-ring, we're going to kick off, as we always do, with the news stories that have been grabbing our attention, and we're going to give our lightning hot takes on them because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get Low Blows on the road. Underway. I went to say underway.
It's okay.
And on the road, and I said under road. It's time to get us over road, if anything. We're going to get started with, as always,
hot takes.
We're live.
Sorry, I was hearing some music that was really nice and soothing, but really creepy because I don't know where it's coming from, and I didn't know if Keane and Rick could hear it, so I didn't know whether it was in my head or not.
I think it is. I can't hear it, and I took off my headphones there.
There.
No, I can't hear it. Keane, can you hear it?
No, you're just being dumb.
You aren't even subtle about giving each other the look now.
Oh, you noticed that. You've been doing that for months. Keane, hot takes, Keane, getting us underway.
Right, so to start my hot take off, right, here's a metaphorical question. So if you were to charge your phone with a wet charger, would you get electrocuted?
Yes.
But would, like, say it was only like 10% wet. Like, it wasn't even like soaking. It was just kind of like bit kind of damp. But
How'd you wet your charger?
were you not outside in the last like at all today?
Why did you have your charger? Yeah, but were you swinging it around in
That's
the
not
rain?
bad, but it was raining that heavily. Do you know what I mean?
All right, fair enough.
But how does this relate to my hot take? Well, the trick is, it doesn't. That was like in a spot. No, it doesn't relate at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, so basically, spotfests are really fun, and you're just a dry cunt if you don't like it. That's essentially my hot take for this evening. I find like it's just always a dry cunts that are complaining about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying like you can't dislike a match. If you dislike it, it's fine. But if your reason for disliking it is, it was a spot fest, they didn't tell a story. It's like, they didn't tell your handful of stories that you know from wrestling. Like, make up the story. Use your imagination. You know what I mean? Why are they doing all this mad shit to each other? Why are they no-selling? Because the adrenaline is pumping them up through it. You know what I mean? They're evenly matched and they're doing flips to try and outspeed each other. It's smart. Do you know what I mean? There's always a story there. Just look for it. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's just because like people were complaining about AEW and their fucking spot fest. You know, their tag matches, which were deadly, which were literally why I watch AEW. They still are why I watch AEW. They're mad fucking matches. Like, not everything has to be, slow, methodical. Like, not every match has to be, he hurt his leg, so I'm going to keep attacking the leg, and then he can't walk, and it affects his moves later on in the match. Sometimes he gets hit in the leg, and he's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, not every UFC fight does a wrestler get, like, they get hit with a leg kick and it puts them out of action for the rest of the match. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes they'll take 10 leg kicks and they'll still be fine. You know what I mean? It fucking happens. Like, I don't know. I just think spotfests are deadly. And I find that, like, people who complain about spotfests, for me, strike me as, like, copy and paste type opinion fans. You know, the ones who, like, they'll see an opinion and they're kind of like, they don't really think about it. They're like, you know what? I agree with that. And then they just post it everywhere. And it's just miserable and depressing. Like, like, spotfests are fun. I don't know why would you not like a spot fest? Do you know what I mean? Like, they're doing mad shit. Is that not why you watch wrestling? For the mad shit. As well as I'm not saying there's no, I don't watch it for the stories. I do, but there's story. You can have stories on spot fest. Like, it's fun.
Okay, it's hard to disagree with that because essentially it's admitting to being a dry shite. But what are your thoughts on Spotfest?
I think you need both.
Right.
And I think there is a place for Spotfests. But I seen an interesting complaint about AEW this weekend, and it's the first time I've ever seen it, where they complained that Santana and Ortiz and the Young Bucks was not spotty enough. I've never read that complaint anywhere, and I actually read one review. It actually had the line, "Yeah, they just tried to tell too much of a story with the leg, and we just wanted some flips, to be honest." And I was like, literally, I've never seen that opinion expressed. That is excellent.
Actually, there is one point you made there that's actually kind of valid, where like if every match is like that and they're all trying to top the next, it can kind of blend in and you don't really appreciate it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that for me was the problem with a lot of like peak Ring of Honor, where like a lot of it just washed. Like, I'd watch the show and be entertained in the moment. On a spot by spot basis, I'm like, that's mad. But if I think that same thought at the end of like 4 hours, I'm like, I can't remember anything that just happened.
So yeah, it could be argued that like, if every match is
if everything is the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if everything's a story about like working a leg, then the same logic applies.
Yeah.
If all matches are the same, then that's the problem.
Exhibition matches should be spot fest because that's the point of them. They're an exhibition of wrestling. But if it's like a feud, then I don't agree with a spot fest.
Yeah, like if it's like, you know what I mean? If it's like Cody and Jericho and it's for the belt and there's a blood feud and they hate each other and Cody's brother got attacked and they went out and tried to do an Osprey Ricochet match.
But that'd be cool. That'd be dead.
No, it
that'd be stupid.
Cody would definitely die.
Yeah, but if Jericho was doing like 450s off the top and all, that'd be fucking dead. It'd be class. Don't tell me it wouldn't be.
I'm going to kill you and then start doing somersaults.
Because that's how he kills people. If that's his moveset, you know what I mean? That's his style. Like, I don't get why people complain about Spotfest. There's logic to all of them.
I'm not saying that like no, but I'm agreeing with you a lot. But like, there's a place for them, and like you can't have every match be a Spotfest, and like that's not what wrestling is. Wrestling is everything. I think we're agreeing, but like again, I'm just saying like if it's that kind of Cody Jericho feud, and that's a spot fest, then it's.
I'm not saying it needs to be. I'm just saying that if it was, I wouldn't complain.
And like, to be honest, you need a certain caliber of wrestler for it to be a spot fest as well.
that's
There is
true.
nothing worse than seeing like two lads who are not able to do a spot fest trying to do a spot fest,
Which is
because you will die cringing.
But that's why it's like even more impressive then, because it's like, you know, the wrestlers who are doing it are of a certain skill to be able to do it. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Yeah, I get that, but like when you see two lads in leather jackets doing like the Finn Balor entrance and then like doing like a forward tumble into like the fucking Osprey Ryan Smile head guns and stuff, and you're like, lads, you've had 4 minutes and no one knows who you are. Like, it's really cringy.
Yeah, the indie flip up to no reaction. It's just like, that's where this is awesome chat is meant to be.
Did you see the video up to the lad? I don't know if I mentioned this on a podcast before, but your man who he's some British wrestler. He went for a hot tag in a match, and he was in some community centre, and he was like riling the crowd up, and he goes for the hot tag, and the crowd are silent, and he just goes, "Shh, nothing," and gets back up on the apron. It's the funniest thing. I need to see if I can find it again. It's so good.
You need one of those matches on the show. You need a cringe match too, actually. Now I want more cringe fest.
So maybe if that's, I mean,
No, I can't watch cringe wrestling.
More spot fest, more cringe fest.
Yeah.
There we go. Moving on. On to the latest. Harvey's hot take.
So I couldn't find the exact tweet I wanted to talk about, but I can pretty much remember the gist of it. So basically, Alexa Bliss is injured, okay, and she's been injured a few times. Whatever, it happens. Some people get injured. It's cool, you know. You just move on. But some guy tweeted her, and like, I think he was trying to come across as concerned and like a concerned fan, but really just came across as a patronising dick, where he's like, yeah, Alexa, I'm just a bit concerned and don't think you should come back wrestling because, you know, you tend to pick up a lot of injuries. Yourself and Sasha need to have a chat because I don't think wrestling is for you.
All he's missing there is that Mercedes. You and Mercedes need to have a chat.
yeah. And I was just like, no, I can't remember. She replied something like really funny and smarky, and I can't find it. I think she might have deleted it. But I was just like, this lad who's probably sitting at home behind his computer, like just has no experience of like the real world or has never set foot in a wrestling ring, and just being like, yeah, this really isn't for you girls, you know? And it's just like, this isn't sexist, right? Wrestling is genuinely harder on women's bodies. Yeah. Okay, we're not built the same way. Yeah. It is harder.
It is.
I'm not being sexist. And Alexa and Sasha are both small-framed girls. Yeah. That is it's a lot of hard work on their bodies. They are going to pick up injuries. It does not give fans the right to comment on whether they should or should not have a job, though, and be like, I really don't think you're able for it. They're in the best place in the world to be injured. Like, they get injured, they get taken off TV, they get taken care of by like top physios and doctors, and then they get to come back. Like, that's great. Yeah. Like, you can't turn around and be like, well, you know, I don't think it's for you, love. You've had a concussion. It's just like, it's so needlessly like, not even gatekeepy, but like, I don't know, like
just wanky.
Yeah, like he's their dad or something. It just comes across as really weird. But it's a trend I've noticed where like they're just like Keem was talking about it before we start recording. Like, what was the word you're using? Fansplaining. Like
being
explaining.
A patronising little fuck.
Yeah, explaining to these fully trained professional wrestlers. Look, girls, I don't think you know the risks involved.
No, do you know what it reminds me of? When Francis Ngannou lost to Miocic, right? He basically, for those you don't know, Francis Ngannou was a big fucking giant MMA fighter from like, he's a fucking tank. And like after he lost, like all the comments were like, bro, you know, you should have worked on your wrestling. It's like, thanks, Kyle. Thanks, I mean, I have all these like trainers and coaches and an entire team behind me, but really, Kyle, you had the answer. You had the key. Yeah. Fuck's sake, like.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's just fans feeling the need that they can comment on things that, like, I don't want to dog on fans, but like, I read a review of
Katie Harvey shoots on fans.
I read a review of my comeback match, and he didn't like the match. That's fair enough, but he felt the need to say that he thought I looked worse for wear than the last time he'd seen me, and I had a lot of ring rust. I'm like, dude, I broke both my arms and I've been gone for 9 months. There's definitely ring rust. Like, but not only that, we're playing that into the story. But like, I was like, I read all the rest of the review. Not once did he comment on the physical appearance of any other of the men in the match or like anyone else who'd come back from injury or anything like that. The only personal remarks were about me.
He commented, like, he said shit about, like, physical appearance and shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm presuming that's what she looks worse for wear means.
For fuck's sake.
And it's just like, why do you feel the need to reach out and comment and like the ring rust and I don't know if she should be back wrestling, and it's like, oh shit, let me bring this review to my doctor, let me bring it to the physio because fucking Kyle here again
All right,
has
look,
said, like, I might not be ready.
Okay, I just thought it'd be good to write a review, and I just thought it'd be fun. And then to be attacked like this.
You wouldn't listen in person.
Corporate Kyle. Who could it be? Anyway, moving on. Shut up, Kyle. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of wanky, anyway, we're going to move on. I want to talk about something a bit more serious now, because I want to talk about, like, so the wrestling world is kind of correcting itself over a lot of kind of mistakes in the past, and the way kind of people, like, this is actually perfectly tying in together, and the way kind of fans spoke about wrestling in general, and like that example now in 2019 that sticks out like a sore thumb, and like a reasonable person reads the type of shit that people are saying to Alexa and be like, that's wrong, when, you know what, 20 years ago that probably would have been just like, he's got a point, you know, that man is telling that, you know what I mean, like, and it's correcting itself a lot. And like, look, like, we were all guilty of like speaking of it in different terms, like, even if you weren't like being deliberately like say sexist about women's wrestling, then like, you know, you were probably still calling it the piss break match because, you know, the standard wasn't as good and whatnot. But like, I've been guilty of it in the past. Like, I remember someone tweeted in a link of an old review I did, and I was no older than like 15, 16, because that's when I would have stopped doing these things, and it is the cringiest fucking thing ever. And I'll own it, I'll cop to it, like, I did write it, I was a kid, but like, it was often like, it was a WWE house show that I went to, and like, in it was like, oh, it's bad.
I need to see this.
It's, no, like, please don't look for it, but like, it was like, I think it was about Molly Holly, and I'm like, you know, and I thought I was complimenting her, and I was like, this is over 20 years ago, guys. And like, it was like, Molly Holly, you know, in person, you know, I'd say she's probably an 8. Whereas on TV, she's a 6. Katie, Katie, I'm getting a bad look. I was 15. I was a child. And look, no, like, but I'm bringing that story up to be like, look, I'm not trying to be holier than thou. I'm not trying to say like, look, I'm perfect. You know what I mean? I've done this shit already when I'm going to bring this up. And look, at the same time though, like, like what I'm trying to do here and the point I'm making, I'm not trying to start a lynch mob. And that's the point of me bringing up that story. I'm not trying to start a lynch mob, or I'm not trying to start a witch hunt, because that's the way people react to stories like this. Now, I want to kind of just raise a point and be like, you know, while we're correcting ourselves, let's remember that, you know, other things are wrong. So we look back at the way we used to just talk about like women in wrestling and so on, and kind of like, again, like a lot of us sexualizing it. Now, a lot of it was down to how they were presented too, you know, bra and panties matches and whatnot, kind of like encouraged us to think this way. But like, we have a wrestler here, like, where we can kind of gauge, and we can actually like do a real life example and kind of ask questions too about like, but you get comments like this, like, you've read comments like this as well. So you read that online about yourself. Like, yeah. I was literally going to come on here and ask, do you ever see stuff about yourself online? Like, yeah. So like, being a wrestler doesn't make you immune from seeing shit that people say about you. Like, you'll see it if they say
and
it.
like from my perspective, if it's like that guy didn't like the match and he listed his reasons, that's absolutely fine. I can even take that as constructive and be like, okay, well, that didn't land with him because of X, Y, Z. But then there's other sides of comments where, whether they be like sexual comments or like, you know, horrible comments about your appearance, I'm just like, that doesn't really have a place, because I just think you wouldn't say it to my face if we were person to person, so why are you writing it online? Exactly.
But also as well, like, just to clarify, like, being a wrestler, as you are, and look, you're someone that can carry that mantle. You know what I mean? You're the women's champion in one of the biggest promotions in the world now. Do you know what I mean? So you're an accomplished wrestler with a following now. that doesn't, just to clarify, that doesn't provide you with a shield where you're now immune to criticism and you can't see anything. Like, you do see comments and they do have an impact on you when you see them. And
sometimes people tag you in the mean comments.
yeah, exactly. And like, but like, even with regards to like sexualized comments and stuff, have you read stuff like, even like flattering or unflattering, like where it's like sexually explicit comments about yourself?
Yeah, on YouTube. But that was also a CCW problem because they were hashtagging fucking disgusting hashtags on the girls' matches and the intergender matches, which just invites like a flood of like awful comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read a few. I read one guy, an old match I have on YouTube against Lucy Cranley, and he took the match and he rewrote it as a porno. Like
Kyle wrote a porno.
It was like fan fiction, as in there was like a backstory, and then he actually like did a play-by-play of the match, but made it really sexualized, and then wrote like a finale. And I was like, it was the weirdest thing I've ever read. Oh,
like we're telling jokes about it, but it's also real. Like you have to receive those. You have to process reading that shit about you. So be honest, like genuine, honest question. Like, how does it feel when you're reading that stuff? Like, you work hard, you train hard, and like you're going out and you put an effort into a match, and this is something you're preparing for, and then to have it turn into that, and then to see those kind of, you reduce to that. How does it feel? Like, and I know this, sorry, probably a very personal question, I'm putting you on the spot, but like, how do you feel when you see that? Like,
I've developed quite a thick skin, but occasionally, like, one comment will catch you off guard.
Yeah.
And like anyone, I get really, really upset.
Yeah.
Like from that review, I got really upset because, number one, like, I did put on a lot of weight after having surgery. I put on 2.5 stone, and I managed to get a stone of it off before I came back. So like, I was kind of like, so he just ignored 9 months of hard work, the entire story we built, the match we put on, and all he could focus on was my physical appearance. Yeah. And like, that was devastating to me. I got really upset, but then like, after chatting to a few people, they're like, he's got 100 followers and 4 likes. Like, yeah. So, you know, you have to put it in the bigger context, but like, in the moment, it can be really, really upsetting. Like,
and that's the point that I'm trying to get to. And I feel that like that's why it's wrong, because like, wrestlers are real people who do see this shit about them, and it has real effects on them, and that's why it's wrong. And I feel like when we went on a crusade where those comments now stand out, I feel like we won to a certain degree. Those comments stand out as creepy now in 2019 when you view them with 2019 eyes. My other co-host, Corporate Keen, you make videos about how to seduce, and like, the funny joke in that is we all get that that's creepy behavior, and I think that's as good as we're going to get with creepy behavior, where we're not going to get rid of it, but if we can just put it into a corner where everyone kind of recognizes it as creepy, that's as far as we're going to get. The problem I feel, and that I want to bring up today, is I feel that we stopped with like men making comments about women. I feel that like we're like, right, men are bad, and that's the end of it. If men make comments about women, that's bad. What I want to talk about today is, and it's something that I'm seeing more and more often, and again, I don't want to do this in a like witch hunty way or a judgy way, but like, there's a lot of comments going online where it seems like, yeah, okay, it is wrong for men to make those comments, but also I see women will comment sexually explicitly about men, or other men will comment about other men, or women will comment about other women, or whatnot, but like, it's kind of accepted. It's kind of seen as funny. It's kind of seen as banter. It's kind of seen as...
It's almost seen as progressive.
Yeah.
In a weird way, which sometimes I've seen it like that way, but it's not. Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, and that's the point I want to get, because it's like, you know, if you were to ask people why they were making this, why they were doing this, like, what's the logic behind this? Why is it okay for you to do it, but it's not okay for this? When, like, the reaction is the same. There's a person who receives those comments. Like, for example, like, fucking wrestlers see this stuff about them, and they have to process that, and they have to feel that way, and they have to, like, go, that person's going to be at a show, I'm now uncomfortable, I'm now, like, I don't know how to react, I don't feel like I can say anything because I'm a man. I can't go up to a woman and say, don't do that, you know what I mean? They may feel put in a corner, and like, they have to just accept being heckled or reduced to a sexual object. And you may ask these people, and I try to rationalize, like, to try and like make my point, like put myself in the other person's shoes and kind of see, well, how would they explain it if like they were to say, well, why is it okay for you to make that comment? And they might say, oh, it's a joke, it's just banter, it's just a joke. Well, like, you know, that's kind of the default stock response for dickheads everywhere to justify any behaviour. It's like, do I look fat? You look fat in that, miss. You look fat in that fucking outfit or something like that. And then someone's like, hey, you can't say that. And it's like, it's only a joke. I was only messing. Take a bit of banter. You know what I mean? It's just a joke. It's not okay. It's not an excuse for weird behaviour. Also to say, the rules are different for my people. The rules are different for me. It's only men who can't do that, but it's okay for me to do that. But straight men cannot do it about, women, but it's okay for my people to do that. Well, no, it's not. It's different. No, it's not different. It's still the same person. The reason it's wrong is because of the reason Katie listed out, because that's how you're making another person feel. You're reducing their work to something. And also as well, I don't accept that as a response. Who used that response for inappropriate behaviour? Who can we think of that we know that said, oh, it's okay for me to do it because the rules are different? I can think of 2 people off the top of my head that implied that or outright said it. One is Kevin Spacey, who came out and said after he was accused of inappropriate behaviour that it's like, oh, actually, I'm a gay man. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, that's still rape is rape. It's still not okay. Another person who came out and tried to use their sexuality or use their position in the world as kind of justification for inappropriate behaviour is Al Porter, who came out and said, oh, I have a flamboyant personality. It's part of my act. Therefore, it's okay if I grope people. It's okay if he gobsmacked people during his act. I was there. I personally witnessed him do that, where he just gobsmacked straight people. And I would just do this without consent, and was like, no, it's okay. The rules are different. And a lot of people kind of were afraid to say anything because they were like, I don't know if I can say anything because are the rules different? Am I being prejudiced if I'm saying that this makes me feel uncomfortable? But at the end of the day, people have to deal with it. At the same time, I thought of another thing which is a fair enough excuse, where it's I want to be free to I want to be free to express my sexuality. I want to be free to express, if I'm a woman and I haven't been able to, men have been able to talk this way about women for years. I feel like I should be able to express myself in the same way. And I hear that. I actually do. That's a fair point. Okay. I get that. You should feel free to express your sexuality. If you like to eat an ass, fair enough. Talk about eating ass. That's fair enough. Go wild. You know what I mean? But when you talk about someone specific, when you talk about someone who's going to read your comments, you're then talking about someone who's going to look at it and say, that person is talking about wanting to eat my ass. And I haven't agreed to that. And that's weird. And now I have to see that person and then sign something that they're going to give me. And that's a weird situation that they're after forcing upon me. And now I'm afraid to say it because maybe I'm a man and that's a woman or that's another man. And now I don't know what the rules are, but I have to just accept this. Well, no, that's not okay. That's not okay for you to make. It is inappropriate behavior. And I tried to kind of think of a way to kind of verbalize this and come up with a way to kind of judge, draw a new line and judge what's appropriate and what's inappropriate, and come up with a catchy way that people could remember, and they could ask themselves, is what I'm doing inappropriate? Is it creepy? Is it crossing a line? But also respect in a way that you want to express yourself as a sexual being in public and in a public forum, which you can and you are entitled to do. So I came up with 4-letter slogan, real simple. This is all you need to remember. All right? Very simple, straightforward, and I think this applies. Don't transcribe your wanks. Don't do it. Don't do it. No one, not a single fucking person on this planet ever, ever, ever wants to hear what you are wanking about. No one cares. No one wants to hear about your fantasy. No one's saying that you can't express your fantasies and make jokes about your sexual urges and be free to be who you are. No one is saying that. But don't talk about specific things like, I had a wank about this person last night. Don't say it. No one wants to say it. No one wants to hear about your fantasies, okay? And even if you do, even if you've got a friend who's like, tell me about your wanks, I want to hear all about that. Congratulations. You're now in a consensual experience where someone else is giving you permission to talk about that. So do it in fucking private, okay? It's weird. No one wants to hear what your fantasies are. No one wants to know. That's not us saying that you can't be who you are. That's not saying that you can't express your sexual urges and things that you like doing or make jokes about them. It's a free world. You are entitled to do what you want. But once you impinge on someone else and once you make someone else feel lower and once you start you know, once you start talking about things that you want to wank about, like, that's when it gets weird. That's when it gets creepy. The rules aren't different. I'm sorry, it's not, and you don't get to say, but I'm different. Like, it's good to assume that, like, nobody, not a single person on this planet wants to hear it. Like, even man, woman, trans, lesbian, bi, straight, no one wants to hear the exact stuff you're wanking about. Again, I'm not assuming that I'm perfect in this field or that we're perfect. I'm not trying to get on a high horse and lecture people. I'm just trying to say there are real people out there, people fucking we know, that like have to read this stuff about themselves online and get sexualized, like, and just feel like really uncomfortable and feel put into a corner and into a spot and have to like live with that. And then people just go about and like act as if I'm being progressive because I'm allowed to joke about this, as Katie said earlier on. And, look, I don't want to see those people witch hunted. I don't want to see those people cancelled. I don't think they deserve it. I think it's more of a mistake. I think it's more just like a grey area of boundaries that they don't know where the line is. I think we need to draw a line. And once we draw a line, then yeah, we need to call it out as creepy, because it fucking is. My name's Rick Nash, and that's been my TED Talk. But other opinions are available. Is there anything I haven't covered there?
We're not saying that you can't find other people attractive and like express it, just do it respectfully. That's a good
point. There's a way where you can talk about someone, like if you turn around and say, you know, I'm a bit in love with blah blah blah, or you know what I mean.
I voted on People's Sexiest Man last night, like, but they're all in on it. It's fine. Yeah. I'm not going around saying like, you know, creepy things, you know.
That's why I mean, like, don't transcribe your wanks.
Yeah.
It falls under that, because it's like you're not talking about specific things that you want to. You're not like writing out pornos for these people. Yeah. You're saying you're attractive and I'm attracted to you. That's okay.
That's all I meant by that. And if anyone's seen them likes popping up on my Twitter, I'm sorry. Because I realised afterwards people can see what you like, and I like 4 polls in a row.
Katie, were you transcribing your wanks? No, for fuck's sake.
I'm sorry, I'll go unlike everything now.
Couldn't even get through one fucking hot take. Guys, other opinions are available. Tell me what you think. Have I missed the mark there? That's perfectly valid. It's been known to happen. So share your thoughts at #LowBlows. Anyway, guys, that's the outer ring stuff we want to talk about. Let's talk about the in-ring from the week, because it's time to discuss the good and the bad, starting with the bad, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for... No, it's not. It's time for...
Say something stupid.
Say something stupid. Worst moments of the week. In at number 5. Tell me about what was going on Smackdown.
Smackdown was just generally a bit shit, to be honest. Okay. Wasn't a lot of great. It was in England. I don't know, the crowds in England don't seem to want to like participate in like WWE programming. They're just kind of, it's a weird atmosphere, like they're just kind of quiet and it's pre-recorded, and I don't really like the vibe. So the crowd wasn't great and they weren't reacting to anything. But there's this really awkward like Tyson Fury Braun Strowman thing. I don't know if you've seen it. So, you know the way they wrestled at Crown Jewel, and now they're doing a whole shtick like, oh my God, I wrestled you and you were really good and I have so much respect for you now that we're going to be tag team partners. Here's the thing, Tyson Fury, I actually liked him on the mic. I don't know a lot about him. I thought he's very charismatic. I thought he spoke well, and I was like, okay, I can get on board with him talking. Braun Strowman came out and it was a bit cringe, like, oh, we'll be a tag team. I was so impressed at you, pal. And the B team came out. And that was fine, because I was like, oh, cool, the lads are going to squash them. They'll, you know, do their tag team shtick, get some chemistry going, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
Except Tyson Fury just kind of watched Braun Strowman do everything, standing there clapping awkwardly. And, like, I was watching a film, I was like, it's kind of like he's just won a competition to, like, be in the ring or something, like, because he hasn't contributed at all here, and he's just kind of standing there like a little cheerleader, because he's occasionally on the microphone be like, yeah, Braun, go Braun, that's good, Braun. But I'm like, he's a legitimate badass boxer. Are you telling me he couldn't throw one little right hook in there or something just to kind of, you know, solidify his part on the team? It was just a really weird, awkward sort of segment.
How do you make a world heavyweight champion look like a fucking large Make-A-Wish kid?
Yeah, just like a giant cheerleader who was standing there. It was really, I don't know how they did it. And then also, I don't know if you've seen Baron Corbin's promo.
Oh yeah, this is so bad.
I'm not a Baron Corbin hater, right? But this week we had excellent Cody Rhodes promos, excellent Finn Balor promos the week before. Like, a lot of really good promos in wrestling. And then he comes out with doggy doo-doo bags to talk about Roman Reigns. And it was just...
Got him!
But it was just like, we talked about it with Randy Orton before, just like really cringy, pre-scripted, like just bad. And you're like, oh no, like this is just awful, I'm sorry. And there was a cartoon dog on the screen.
Oh no, that was the worst. I'm dying of cringe here.
The cartoon dog, and I can't even remember what it was doing. I think it was just going, ruh, ruh, ruh,
it was just yelping, it was like, ruh, 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 ruh. But it went on forever.
So
it
long.
Just kept going.
And then kept coming back to Baron Corbin just standing there smiling, holding his shit back. I was like, what is this?
Why don't get the insult?
Because he's a dog. And dogs do poos. He's the big dog.
There's no insult.
So he's cleaning up his shit, I think. I don't know. That's actually quite considerate.
That's more insulting to Barry.
It's like, it's one of those, it makes me think of like Vince McMahon, like with the Dean Ambrose interview, where he's just like, Vince would just come out with this shit, and then like, it's just like, I have to go out there and say this. And then he's like, oh yeah, you want some doo-doo? I got the doo-doo packs. And it's like, you can tell that no one else in the arena, but you can hear Vince McMahon to the back like, ha ha ha, that's amazing. It's like, oh.
Yeah, and like Randy Orton with his pre-scripted promos, well, I can't remember his Raw or SmackDown, but he's setting up with the OC, and he's just like, "'Cause I'm Mr. or KO out of nowhere," and I was like, it's just unnecessarily long.
She did a little dance there.
Yeah, that's kind of good. That's what he was doing. Like, he was really getting into it. And I'm like, oh, you're buying into this nickname now. That's too long to be a nickname, Randy. No.
Stop pretending to be creepy Randy Orton. It's too real. In at number 4, I want to talk about referees are always something that I'll kind of come back to. And try give credit for good, and then like, unfortunately, this is say something stupid. I want to talk about AEW ref Bryce Remsberg. And if you look up Bryce Remsberg, you'll generally see like loads of positive comments online. Like, he's really over. He strikes me as one of those guys who like probably takes a lot of time to hang out with fans and stuff like that, because you get like the famous fans like the Matthews and stuff like that saying Bryce fucking Remsberg. You know when fans are like overly enthusiastic about like someone that's like kind of an auxiliary player on the side, and you're like, oh, he took a photo with you, didn't he? Or something like that, you know what I mean? And he does a lot of like, he does a lot of work with Chikara and stuff like that. He's the lad who refereed the match between two invisible men. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, he's the only ref that can see them, yeah.
That was actually really cool.
It was a cool match. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not slating him like as a person, but like, he strikes me as someone now who like has bought into his own hype. And like, kind of like, he realizes that he has a little following online. Do you know the way Foxy has a following over here and stuff like that? Yeah. It's a bit like that. And I think Bryce in that case has bought into his own kind of hype. And like, now he's trying to work a gimmick during matches. Like, there's little things that he does. He ruined Hangman Page against Pac for me last weekend. He ruined the fucking match because the entire time he's like, just like constantly in the middle of the shot. He's in the middle, and like, even when like there's a rear chin lock spot, and Bryce just starts like twirling his knee around, like kind of dancing with the spot and stuff like that.
Now who's dancing on the spot?
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, you started a trend. Keen, you're next. But like, he starts like kind of dancing like while they're doing it, like as the crowd are reacting, and it's like, that's literally their job. They're the ones who are supposed to be moving in rhythm with the crowd. It's not supposed to be you. Like, I don't mind. I brought it into my reffing game, and I used to ref where it's like selling chops and stuff like that. Just like, my belief with reffing was like, if one person is looking at you, your action should be like coherent with what's happening in the match. Do you know what I mean? So if someone looks at you, if someone gets a chop, like your natural reaction, if you're in the crowd, is go, ugh. You know what I mean? So like, if you're a ref and you do that, that's grand. But he oversells everything, and he always makes sure he's in the shot. And then like, he's constantly like waving his arms. He's like, did you ever see fucking one of those like traffic? What's the words? The people like doing traffic duty. Conductors, yeah. He's one of those guys who's like trying to get famous on YouTube, where he's like creating a dance sequence, and he's just like doing that the whole match. And I'm like, dude, you're fucking. I can't look at anything else but you. Like, literally, the wrestlers are in the middle of the ring, and they're in the middle of the ring, and they're like working towards a corner, and it's like, I'm looking at, I can't remember the exact spot, but I'm like, the ref's supposed to be in the corner. Like, if you're a ref and you aren't involved in the spot, you shouldn't be on camera. Do you know what I mean? Or you should be trying your best to be off camera. Because if I'm noticing you at all, you're not doing your job. The problem is, I think Bryce Remsberg is trying to be noticed because he's got like an addiction to like the pops now. I think he's kind of got, and it's a very easy thing to get addicted to, like, you know what I mean? You get a bit over, and like it happens to a lot of people, like, and they start like kind of overselling and reaching for that pop. But for me, it's like, if you're a referee, you kind of have to accept your lot in life. That maybe there'll be a spot or two in your career where, like, you'll be the center of attention. But otherwise, you've signed up to be an auxiliary role. It's like, Keane, you and Ben work your asses off, say, for Fight Factory. Do you know what I mean? And add a lot to, like, any VOD presentation or any match you're involved in. You know what I mean? But you have to accept in a way that you're never going to be the guy the crowd is cheering for.
What?
Yeah, I really wish you would stop inserting yourself into big moments of the show.
But like, you've got to accept that, like, you're going to work your ass off, and ultimately your job is to make the wrestlers shine. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, I just feel like, watch out for it now. He's the bald guy with a beard. Rick Knox is the completely bald guy without a beard. He's a very good ref. Bryce Remsberg is the guy with kind of a beard. Sometimes he has a shadow. Look out for it now. I'm telling you, it's really fucking annoying. And once you notice it, you won't be able to see anything else.
Don't point it out then. Well, you ruin it for me.
Are you one of the people, if it's pointed out to you, you'll focus on it?
I wouldn't notice that otherwise, if I'm being honest.
I didn't until now. Maybe he's done it for a while, but then I saw it in that match. Because, like, it was the stupid, like, dance spot. He was dancing while they were doing a rear chin lock. And it's like, you were not supposed to be moving now. You were there for a specific purpose. Like,
but the submission is making him shake. He's nervous. He's like, oh, fuck. I hope he doesn't...
He's responding to the claps. Like, he's kind of, like, reacting to the crowd. And it's like, stop doing that. Like, all I notice is you. And now I'm subconsciously thinking, what's the ref going to do? What's the ref going to do? Even though I also consciously know that's shit refereeing if I'm thinking about that.
But do you not think that you only notice that because of your ref history? That like an average fan wouldn't notice that.
A ref was, well, he wasn't dancing for nobody to notice.
I didn't notice. Do you notice?
But like,
no.
I'm telling you, you'll notice now. And then you'll be like, he's doing, like, why do that at all then? Why dance? Why, like, start reacting to the crowd? Like, why start twirling your arm and twirling your leg? Like, why do that? There's no need for it. It doesn't add anything to the match. But now he's addicted to the pops. I'm telling you. You're going to notice it now, and you're going to hate me for pointing it out.
Yeah, because I think, like, I'm not saying, like, you know, like, I don't know. Again, I'm not commenting on it because I didn't notice, but do you not think, like, that, like, the average person wouldn't notice that?
Maybe not, but then don't do it at all. Like, he shouldn't be doing it. Like, that's why I'm pointing out he should not be doing this, because it shouldn't come down to whether, well, it's not harming anyone because nobody noticed, but he's doing a bad job. So stop doing it. I'm just saying, like, I'm telling you, you're going to agree with me. I'm going to start something now, and everyone's going to notice it. And then, yeah, we need to, and then we'll start a mob, and then we'll witch. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Right, okay, no, we won't do that.
No
anyway.
pylons or witches. I do have a Foxy referee clarification if he's listening and could clarify something for me, though.
Go.
It's from AEW, and it was Aubrey Edwards is the ref for Cody and Jericho. And I was wondering why Jericho didn't get disqualified for whipping Cody with his weight belt.
That was her discretion.
Yeah, that's what Phil said. He was like, he was wearing it in the ring. It's part of his gear, so it's not a foreign object.
They said that on commentary.
Did they?
Yeah, that she's...
So Phil is not smart. He heard it on commentary, and I clearly wasn't listening. Because he used the exact same phrase you just did as well.
Stop trying to use the show to win your round.
Yeah, I just wanted some Foxy clarification that was okay, because I just wasn't sure.
Like, Hogan got away with it for months, like, for years.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I'd say she shit herself. Like, if you're talking strictly kayfabe, like, I'd say she shit herself, because she's like, am I going to end the highly anticipated championship match over this? And they're both wearing weight belts as well.
That's what I was wondering as well. I know Cody usually wears them, but Jericho doesn't.
He got it custom made for this, yeah.
So he could whip him because he knew he wouldn't get disqualified.
Exactly.
I fucking love that match.
Yeah, we will talk about it. Don't worry. That's not going and say something stupid. In number 3, let's talk about Impact.
Yeah, so do you remember that really cool brawl that AEW did where, like, the Inner Circle were up in the box and then one by one Cody's team came out to, like, even the odds?
Oh, no.
Yeah, Impact did something kind of similar, but, it wasn't really as good.
Oh, no.
So, alright. Alright, so you know the way the Inner Circle, it was Chris Jericho, Santana, Ortiz, Sammy Guevara. This was OVE. So, like, I love OVE, so I'm not going to pretend I don't just for the sake of this, like, point. But a lot of people don't really love them, like, like I do. You know what I mean? Like, it's Sammy Callahan, the two Jay Christ and Dave Christ, and Sawyer Fulton, or what's it called now? Madman Fulton, I think he's called now. But yeah, so they're in the ring, and then out comes the Cody Rhodes in the situation, or as he's called, Tommy Dreamer. He comes out and he's like, I want to fight, you know, whatever. But then who comes out to even the odds? Who would you love to see come out to even the odds? Actually, it wasn't too bad in hindsight. It's probably like, it was Rich Swann anyway. So it's like it's all right, I suppose. But then, and this is the big one.
It's the very Impact version.
But but then
MJF, Rich Swann. It doesn't have the same ring.
But number 3 is the exciting one. That's the one where you're like, oh shit, now odds are getting fucking even. Who's next in line? Who's going to come out? Who's going to even the odds? Daga.
Who?
Daga.
Who's Daga?
Daga. He's pretty good. Like, he's a Mexican wrestler.
All right.
Yeah. And then the big one at the end was Tessa Blanchard, who's great, don't get me wrong, but it was just like, there was no kind of like, I mean, it's not DDP,
Sexist.
You know what I mean? No.
Sexist. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm doing it. Sexist. How dare you, sir?
Well, it was deadly in the sense that, no, it wasn't deadly. It was good in the sense that, like, obviously it made sense as part of the story, but where's the big, oh yeah, you know what I mean?
And the fact that literally the exact same thing was done like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, it's Tommy Dreamer and Daga. That's not.
Why would you even just try that? Because it can only be like you're literally setting up Impact memes there.
They might. I don't know if they recorded before that though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know when it was recorded.
Imagine that. Oh, imagine they did. And AEW ripped it from them. And like, if only they had gone to air before AEW did it, we would have been like, amazing. Top of this is on. Who'd have thought it? They were in the crowd and then 4 people came out.
oh no, sorry, just to clarify. It wasn't a carbon copy. They weren't like in a box anywhere or anything like that. Like, it was,
right.
Like, they was in the ring, like, but it was still kind of like a 1-by-1 reveal. And it's like, oh. Oh well.
In at number 2, I want to talk about Raw. Similar to SmackDown, like shit fucking crowd. Like, yeah, and that's why I felt bad for Sin Cara. Everyone's like, why is Sin Cara asking for his release? I think I figured it out. Because at one stage, he was wrestling a match against Drew McIntyre, and he took a full force powerbomb on the floor. To no reaction. And I think I pinpointed the moment. If you look really carefully, you can pinpoint the exact moment where Sin Cara said, fuck this shit. I know he was wearing a mask, but I could see it in his fucking eyes because he's like, I just took a full-on powerbomb. That has ended careers. That, like, ended Droz's career, for example. That's a move that's ended careers, and nobody even fucking blinked. And here's the thing. I'm not even giving out about the crowd in this case. They weren't set up to blink. They weren't set up to react. Like, it's Drew McIntyre against Sin Cara. There's no build to this match. There's no kind of, like, build to this spot. They're literally just throwing away shit for the sake of it in a time when we know that shit needs to be, if you're gonna do it for a good fucking reason at best. Like, save it for something. And they just did it for the sake of it. To nothing. To fucking crickets. Like, I just felt so bad. And I think that's why he quit. Like, if I'm being honest, that was taped, last Friday, wasn't it? With SmackDown, same day
That's
SmackDown?
what I was wondering. Did it come out before or after Raw?
Yeah, so, yeah, it was, it came out after Raw. Because I think it was he handed in his notice, or he put this up after the one where Jordan wrestled Walter in Austria. I'd love to see that match, by the way. I'd say that was fucking slick. Jordan and Walter in Austria, like.
Walter's from Austria.
No, I know, yeah, but it's a WWE live event, you know what I mean? Like,
I know, but like,
it kind of just hurts to watch. Like, I didn't watch Devlin Walter in NXT because it just hurts. You know what I mean? It's like, we got to see it when it was like hot as fuck and it was like, you know, this mad thing.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I think it'd be good because Devlin would be the heel and Walter would be over.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's gonna be like proper over in that crowd. The crowd are gonna be hot for him there. Like, do you know what I mean? The first ever big time Austrian wrestler coming back as a champ. Do you know what I mean? I think it would have been hot. But it was that show anyway. I think that was on Saturday or Sunday, but it was after that. I think that was the moment. But also as well, like, look, we can't let it go by. Lana Lana and Rusev. This storyline that literally has people on WWE programming and WWE branded podcasts going, there was a whole segment dedicated to people saying, stop this. This is terrible. Stop. Literally, they had like, Renee Young made like an interesting point, and I actually did believe her when she said, she's like, look, I'm a fan of this kind of smut. I know it's cringy, but like, I like it when WWE goes mad. And I get that. I was making the same point a few weeks ago, not about this storyline, but just in general, where like when WWE does mad shit, and we're like the Hell in a Cell thing, I think I was making the point about. When WWE does this mad shit, we're like, the booking, the creativity, but like the average fan just goes, the wrestling's mental. And that's the way they look at it. Whereas that's the point she was making, but then it was like Booker T, Joe, and Paige made like honest, they're actually, like backstage is actually pretty good, because they're actually like doing the type of conversations we do, and they're like, Joe's just like, I don't think anyone's getting over, I don't think anyone's looking good coming out of this, I don't see where it goes, I just want to see them fight, like. And it was just like Corey Graves again, like on the podcast, he's like, what's going on, why are you still doing this, you have two great wrestlers, oh just let them wrestle. Like, it's that bad that they're now, like, at one stage, although I have to say, did anyone see Rusev talking about this? He did an interview about this storyline during the week. In the most Rusev manner ever, he doubled down on it, where he turns around and he goes, I think it's the best storyline WWE have done in years. And just decided to troll people. He's like, I think we're doing something different. It's getting people talking. I think, name me a better storyline. Name me one. He's just owning it. Like, I think he knows, and he's just like having a laugh, like, when he's saying that. But like, Lana did a promo this week. I don't know if you've seen it or heard about it.
I've seen it.
Yeah. She looked like she didn't want to be there.
She used one particular phrase that I cannot believe has been uttered on WWE TV.
What was it?
He put a little matchka baby in me. I think
Why did you go extra Wicklow for that? He put a little matchka baby in me.
I sat there for ages going, why is a matchka baby like? I think that's what someone actually I didn't watch the promo, someone transcribed the entire promo on Twitter. And I was reading it and I was like, what?
Yeah, if you watched it, you'd see, like, Lana looks like she doesn't want to be there anymore. Like, she was just, like, speeding through the promo. She had a script, and then she's like, okay, so at the start, like, I had sex with Bobby Lashley for the first time 7 weeks ago. Now I'm 9 weeks pregnant. You may notice that is a difference now. There's more than that, and that's Rusev. Rusev is the 30. Rusev's the 30. But a matchka baby, and look at me, I'm fat. I'm getting fat. Look at me. You don't want to see me. And, like, she's not, like, cutting a promo. She's speeding through her fucking lines to get to the end of this. Like, it's like, watch it and like look for that, and you won't be able to unsee it, because she's not like letting the crowd get in or process any of it. She is just flying through it. And Rusev comes out. This is amazing. On a week where he's come out and said it's the best storyline in years, Rusev's promo, did they transcribe what Rusev said?
No, I'm actually trying to find it now. Because how do you spell matchka?
Machka. I think
Rusev's,
if you did transcribe Rusev's thing, it's like, what? You are pregnant? What? Let me get this straight. What? You are telling me you are pregnant? What? That's really much what Rusev said. That was his promo. And then Lashley came out and they fought. And that was it. Like, yeah. But look, literally people in the company screaming at them to stop. And yet it continues. I don't know. The more they double down on it, the more I'm kind of into it. Like, it's just stubbornness at this stage. But it's not the worst thing of the week. Because in at number one, specially requested by Corporate Keane, this has pissed him off and he wants to get it off his chest. In at number one, it's the thing everyone's talking about, to be honest. To be fair, it's the thing that's got wrestling Twitter completely split down the middle. We're going to weigh in on it now. In at number one, let's talk about main event.
Main event, could not, I'm raging. I'm fucking seething right now, right? So, for those of you that don't know main event, remember Superstars and Heat and Velocity and all that? It's like that. It's still around, believe it or not. They have 2 matches per show on it. And it's actually fascinating to watch just because it's like, it's the people you don't see on TV. But this week, they did have somebody that we see on TV, somebody very close to me, as you know. They had Eric Rowan on there.
Oh shit!
In the main event, he's double main event. What a legend.
Main event squared.
Yeah. And on paper, this is fucking amazing, right? They put Eric Rowan in the main event, but not just Eric Rowan. Do you remember last week when we were talking about our dream teams in WWE, and we were talking about how much we all wanted to see the 3 bald Erics?
Did we all agree that?
You did, we all agreed.
I can assure you. Here's the clip. I'm Katie, and I want to see the 3 bald Erics.
Well, obviously Eric, with no surname, is in Viking Raiders. He's busy. But we did get to see the 2 bald Erics. We got to see Eric Young and Eric Rowan team up to take on Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. And that's where the good stops. It stops because Eric Young let the whole fucking team down. He got pinned by Kurt Hawkins, and that's it. What a fucking prick, man. Like, imagine getting a team up with Eric Rowan. You're teaming up with a tag team specialist. You don't even have to do anything. Just tag out and you'll win.
Is Eric Young not a tag team specialist?
No.
Has he not spent a lot of time in tag teams?
No.
He has.
No, he's a faction specialist. Yeah.
So pedantic.
What? Team Canada. Team Canada and Sanity, where other lads did all the work and he was just there.
He was tag team champions with ODB.
Oh.
That was... Who remembers that, though?
Sexist.
But my point is, Rowan literally could have done it all by himself, and like Young could have just stayed there on the fucking side, said nothing, won the match, and then they could have kept going. We could see where it goes from there. Then you get the 3rd Eric in, you can have your nice bald 3 Eric faction. But no, it's been ruined because Eric Young couldn't keep his shit together, and he got pinned by Kurt Hawkins. I think it was Kurt Hawkins. It was one of them anyway.
Did you see Eric Rowan on Raw?
No.
Oh my god! Oh my god! We need to discuss this. Have you not seen any of this?
I haven't seen any Raw or SmackDown. Like,
and you haven't heard of this?
I heard I saw 2 things. I heard he smashed some local lad up, and then I heard he stared down the Singh brothers.
Oh, you missed
Stared
the thing.
down. Oh.
You missed the thing. Oh my god! How have you not noticed? You missed the huge Eric Rowan gimmick. He's got like a new gimmick.
Was it?
Right. So he's got a pet or something.
Oh,
Okay?
nice.
Like he's got like, I don't know what it, and we don't know what it is. It's an animal of some sort because all we see is the camera from inside a cage, and then you have Eric Rowan, and like it's not a good look for him.
It's a point of view shot.
Yeah.
From the animal looking out of its cage at Eric Rowan.
And, like,
what's the animal?
It's
We
not.
don't
We don't
know.
know. That's
do you
the
not
point.
know?
Because you're in the cage. The camera is the animal. So all you're looking at is
What do the fans see when they look in?
Okay, you know the way you're on a media course? Have
Yeah.
you heard of point of view shots?
But the whole match is done.
No, it's not
Do
a
you know
match,
in porn-
it's a backstage
do you know,
segment.
Do you know in porn,
Oh.
POV?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, POV. It's a POV.
Right.
Instantly. Oh, yeah.
It's a backstage segment.
Okay.
And he's just talking to it really creepily.
Oh,
But
that's
also,
alright.
the camera being that up close to Rowan as
Yeah.
well. Like, he has a bit of a baby face. Do you know what I mean? When you get that close to him, like, far away, he's big, he's menacing, he's badass. Up close, he's like, and when you don't see his full, like, head, you just see, like, his kind of, his eyes and his cheeks. It's like, and then, like, he turns around and he's like, Gucci, Gucci, goo. Gucci, Gucci, goo. It's just like, what are you doing?
This is a very old school reference, but have you ever seen Shooting Stars?
No.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Basically, Matt Lucas from Little Britain used to appear on it, but used
Oh,
to be
yeah.
just dressed as a giant baby
Yeah,
playing the drums.
he's a baby.
Yeah. That's Eric Rowan now.
He's a baby.
It's not. He's a grown man with a pet, and I think it sounds really cool.
He did also assault both Singh brothers in the dark in a dressing room as well.
That was cool. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this shit.
You need to. I'm actually going to get it up live now, and we're going to have a look at it on the air because I need to see your reaction. I need to, like, I think if I give you time, you'll be able to stand over it and you'll be able to justify it. I want to get your live reaction to this as we, now hopefully, please have it online.
What if it's not a pet? What if it's like another wrestler?
It's the
Could be
head
another
of, like,
another wrestler's head. That'd be so cool.
Bray Wyatt has a head thing. He's got decapitated
Bray
head.
Wyatt does have a head, yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, god damn it. They don't have it. WWE don't have it online. Hold on. I'm going to see if it's online. I need to get a reaction to this live because
Why do
like,
just some complete random wrestler in WWE's head? Somebody having. What if it's Sin Cara? After like.
That's why he's asked for his release.
No, because like he asked for his release, then it happened.
Oh, would they be that spiteful?
That'd be really funny.
they don't have it.
Like
Ah,
what-
god damn it.
What are you Googling? I'm Googling Eric Rowan POV, and I'm really not sure I should be.
That's dangerous.
That's a brave Google
That is
search.
dangerous. I texted Eric Rowan pet. Hold on. Did they have it in this? No, they don't. God damn it. Right, look it up anyway, do. It's this is big Eric Rowan news. You need to go out your way to see this.
I'm happy for him, though. He seems like he's having a good time.
Anyway, look, let's finally talk about the good for the week. It's time to talk about the things we like, the top 5, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for... Top 6, actually. In at number 6, let's talk about NWA Power.
Yeah, there was a new debut. I was really happy to see it. It is Unknown's dad, and he's really good. So basically, the wrestler is called The Question Mark, and you don't know who he is.
But also, there's a question mark before and after his name, just in case you forgot.
Yeah, it's question mark, question mark. Just so, just in case you didn't know. And yeah, it's just really good. I'm really happy for the Unknown family, and it's good to see them all branching out and growing.
Unknown, for anyone who doesn't know, because a lot of people don't know, that's the point. But Unknown is a Fight Factory cult hero. If you're ever lucky enough to be at a Fight Factory show beforehand, there is an unknown wrestler from Unknown, weighing in at Unknown, named Unknown. Mass wrestler, comes out to the Script Hall of Fame, gonna take over the wrestling world one day, I think. A
luchador that comes out to the Script. He's an absolute fucking legend. I don't care what he's literally genuinely top 5 favorite wrestlers. He's for me. But yeah, to see his dad on NWA is really cool.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter. I think what's it, Unknown Secret or something, is it? I think it's something like that.
Yeah, look up Unknown. It'll have followed by, and then you'll see my name and stuff.
There you go. Do look him up. Yeah, it is. It's very good. Also, as well, I want to talk about with NWA Power. I want to talk about that fucking team song. It's in my head permanently.
Into the fire. Yeah, it's on Spotify.
Yeah,
it's on Spotify.
It's amazing.
It's on mine. Yeah,
I'm listening to that on the way home. It's awesome. In the number 5, Raw. There was good points, but it was kind of again shit crowd, not a great buzz. The kind of did anyone else notice that for Raw and SmackDown they were using canned audience again?
Yeah,
so
I had
good.
the feeling that they were.
But I don't get this. They didn't use canned cheers. Do you know the old SmackDown,
yeah, there's always the one fan you always hear, in the same kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Just wailing.
Yeah.
This, they only use canned boos. Why are you using canned reactions to show how much people hate your show? It was really weird. But it was a weird show. But there was one high point in it. Because Rollins is cutting a promo, whatever. And then he's like, I got to figure out what's next. And then all of a sudden, it hit Walter's team, and then out came Imperium, NXT UK invading, and that was another cool part for SmackDown as well. We will talk about SmackDown in a bit, but Imperium invasion, and then that set up a match between Rollins and Walter, and it's I am fucking here for this shit. That's what we want from Seth Rollins. We don't want to be in locker room leader. We don't want to get into the weekly drama of Seth Rollins and what's going on in his mind. We don't want Becky Lynch's boyfriend or any of that shit. Put him in great matches with other great wrestlers, and that's what we want to see. Now, it did end in a schmoz. Imperium ended up interfering, and then the Street Profits and Kevin Owens came out and made the save, and it became an 8-man tag. And the Raw side ended up getting the win, which makes sense. They pinned one of the Imperium lads that wasn't Walter, and they should get the win over an NXT UK team, all things being even. So yeah, that was kind of the build-up for Survivor Series, but it was awesome again because it made me really excited about Seth Rollins again because I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's a really good wrestler, yeah, oh that's class. So yeah, was very happy to see that. But in at number 4, let's talk about SmackDown from the week.
Just one of the things I liked about SmackDown is this continuing kind of developing feud between Nakamura and Daniel Bryan. So there was a little backstage segment where Sami Zayn is talking to Daniel Bryan. He's basically the guys, their feelings are really hurt that you didn't come out and celebrate with us, but I told them you just need more time, you need to come around to our way of thinking, blah, blah, blah. And I really liked it because Daniel Bryan hasn't turned face yet. He's on the edge, he's on the line, and he's done facey things like team with Roman Reigns, but he hasn't gone full on yes movement, and he hasn't gone back to that moveset and stuff like that. So it's just this really interesting dynamic where you could see him swinging to either side, but we are probably going to get Daniel Bryan versus Nakamura, and that's the payoff, and I'm so excited. And the promo was really good, and it was interrupted by The Fiend, and it was really cool because it's just tying in another link of the story where it's Daniel Bryan turned on Bray Wyatt years ago, and now he's the Fiend, and he's going after Daniel Bryan on top of it all. So maybe Daniel Bryan's going to side with Nakamura and Zayn for protection against the Fiend. Or maybe like that's a one-off thing, but I love when storylines intersect, and I love when like things weave. Like that's one thing I used to love about WCW. Like you would have people across multiple segments, multiple storylines, mainly because they didn't know what they were doing. But like I liked it, and it kind of feels like that when they're weaving so much in and out of it. So there was a good match as well. It was God, I hate saying Shorty G. I hate it so much.
His gear as well.
His gear. Like we were talking about how I'm not allowed to say sexual things about wrestlers, but like that's really not attractive.
I think it's fucking hip, to be honest.
It's like a cheap fireman outfit that like your ma will get you for Halloween. You want it to be a fire, but that's not a fireman, man. You want it to be a fireman, that's not, whatever that is, it's not a fireman.
It's just so spanky, you know what I mean? Like that's all it reminds me of. Was him and Ali against Nakamura and I've gone blank, can't remember who, but yeah, it was a really, really good match. Who was it? Was it Baron Corbin? No,
was this not Sami Zayn?
Was it Sami Zayn?
Because he still does wrestle. He's still a wrestler. I don't know. I can't remember.
Cesaro.
Yeah,
and he wasn't wearing his gear.
Yeah,
he was wearing really awkward red shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was he not wearing slacks? Oh, I can't remember now.
Or Truth was wearing really awkward red shorts.
He was. Yeah.
I was just kind of wondering why all these people weren't wearing their gear.
They just left it. They lost it in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Couple of cool things. Daniel Bryan actually has come back and done the S chants.
Has he?
First time in Dublin at the house show at the weekend. Yeah, they got that. Yeah.
It's our city.
Yeah, exactly. And also another cool little note as well, and you touched on this, but it's just worth remembering that we're at the stage where we're asking, is Daniel Bryan going to do the yes again? The last time he did that, who was he the last time he was like, Daniel Bryan's not going to do yes anymore, who was he feuding with, and who did he eventually end like doing the yes chance again? Bray Wyatt. Do you remember at the top of the cage when he turned on them? And then he's like, the fans are looking at him, they're like, do it. And he goes, yes. So when we're at that juncture in his career again, his paths cross with Bray Wyatt, but this is obviously a very different Bray Wyatt. So you've actually just made me realise that. I've just copped that there while you were saying it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm like, there's a lot of tie-ins here. So now I'm actually way more into this. And like, it looks like it's coming up at Survivor Series as well. So exciting times ahead. In at number 3, let's talk about NXT.
Yeah, I suppose the main part about NXT was when the invasion happened. The OC, yeah?
Yeah.
Gallows, Anderson, and Styles came in, and it was mad. Because, I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember what they did.
Like, the intro was fucking class.
Where they came in, they already had attacked.
The open to the show was the Undisputed Era, like, walking down, and they're like, NXT, we're gonna WWE, bring your best shot, and then the OC just kicked the shit out of them, like out of nowhere, and like they left you like going, that's fucking AJ Styles, because they didn't like kind of, that was class.
Well, I love how like basically it works the other way now as well. You never really see people, invading NXT, but now we're getting that too, and it's cool. I think it was you or someone pointed out, whenever it was, I can't remember, but how like AJ Styles and the OC have never been in NXT. They're one of the few people in the modern era to skip that. So for them, it actually does feel like a proper invaders coming in and fucking shit up. And then Ciampa confronted them, and they were like, well, fair play, you're the only person to speak up. And then I think was it Matt Riddle and Keith Lee then?
Yeah, it was.
Then they had a match, and it was good. It just ended in a big mess. Balor was there.
That was so cool. Balor, because we were like, what's Balor going to do with this whole thing? Like, who's he going to side with? And then it was right there. Why would he not side with the Bullet Club? It was fucking cool. That was awesome when he turned. I was such a fan of that. And, like, do you know what? Like, I stayed up last week after the show because I was in work late the next day. So I stayed up for the first hour of NXT and AEW. Really hard to watch 2 wrestling shows at the same time, by the way. Really, really fucking hard. Impossible, like. But, like, one show was always taking my attention more than the other. But when that kicked off, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then, like, the next promo was, well, let's talk about it. The next, a couple of, like, segments later, AEW had like one of the best, like probably the best thing of the week. So let's talk about AEW from last week. Of course, they had Dynamite and then they have Full Gear. So it was fantastic.
Oh, the Cody promo was unbelievable from Dynamite.
Yeah.
It was so good. Like, I was already sold on this match, but like this was just like, okay, I need to see it. Like, this is amazing. This is why Cody Rhodes left WWE, to cut promos like this and to have matches like him and Jericho. And it was just passionate, is all it was. But it's also well thought out. And like the points he's making about Jericho is like, it's not like name calling and stuff and being like juvenile. It's like well thought out points about like, okay, you're calling me this, I'm calling you that, this is why, I'm perfectly correct, and everyone cheering. Like it's
yeah, but you didn't even mention any match babies or anything. I thought it was shit.
It does lose a point for not having a match baby in it. It was just a really good promo. I actually urge everyone just to go out and watch it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will have seen it now because it set the world on fire. Like, it was, for me, and like, of course, I hate Cody. I'm really biased against that, as like I've been accused of before. No, I thought this was fantastic. And like, it reminded me of Dusty Rhodes, though. It was like, oh my God, you've just like, you're your dad's son now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you've earned that fucking mantle where it's like, you're like, and I mean that in a good way. Like, I don't mean that to take away from Cody and be like, he's Dusty Rhodes' son. Do you know what I mean? It's like the best possible way I can mean that. You know what I mean? I'm like, you've done him proud with that fucking promo. Like,
yeah, it's not like, say, like David Flair when he was emulating Ric Flair, and it was just like a cheap copy. It's like the way Charlotte is. The way it's like she's taken elements, made it her own, and just made it bigger. Like, really, really good.
You're carrying that legacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something that like he's probably struggled with a lot. And like then when he stepped up and did that, I'm like, oh my God, your dad would be so fucking proud of that promo. That's fucking awesome.
I think it was on that episode as well, was it, where Dustin Rhodes got attacked and got his car slammed in the limo? Or was that?
I think that was a couple of weeks ago, but they replayed it last week.
They replayed it. They had a really good video package they played at Full Gear as well. Like,
did you see the Jericho video package?
Where they kind of made fun of it. And they had, who was it?
Jack Hager.
But they had someone in the DDP role that was just like, Virgil! Yes! Virgil in it! Yeah, it's playing like the DDP, like old school mentor role.
And I had like Sammy Guevara being like, did you know that Chris Jericho is the youngest ever AEW champion?
And then like they just kept cutting to Jack Hager. Jack Hager, AEW superstar, stares at the screen, and then they cut away from him, and then they cut back. Jack Hager, AEW superstar, stares at the screen, and then they cut away from him. Like, it was inspired.
It's an amazing build.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, if you had said to me like 3 months ago, one of my favourite matches of the entire year was Cody Rhodes versus Chris Jericho, I would not have believed you. I've been so into this. And then the match happened, and like, it was my favourite match of the card. I just loved it. It was so good. Now, Rio and Emi Sakura was amazing. Yeah. Really, really good. It kind of saddens me the build for Cody and Jericho was so good, and I feel like their build was like pretty much done by Emmy on Twitter in the lead up to the pay-per-view, but hopefully they've seen the error in that and they're gonna let the girls do more.
Yeah.
But the build was so good, the match was so good. It was like a proper storytelling match, not a spot fest. I hate spot. No, I'm joking. But like, they did nothing at the start and they just built it. That dive though that Cody did onto the ramp, he clearly did not take into account that ramp was going all the way to ringside, and he leated himself something terrible, like, but added to the match. Fought through and he's cleaned him up, and it's just like, they're just such pros. I just loved it. Like, I can't say enough good things about the match, and there's so many little things weaved in, like the falsies are all deadly, the throwing in the towel, the heel turn from MJF.
So well played. The way they gave it like space, they let it breathe. Where you're like, because you're like, we've all like, this is the best part about that. Like, we knew that was coming at some stage. We're like, MJF's a dick. They pretty much told us this. If you're following on being the elite, like, he's cutting promos against Cody's dog. You know what I mean? He's like, you're a stupid little brat. And then Cody comes in, he's like, Cody, I'm just talking about how amazing your dog is. Like, we've seen this coming. But, they let it at a stage where you're like, is Cody going to turn on him? Like, is MJF going to be are they going to let MJF be the face? Like, and then you're like, well, MJF could turn on him, but they just let it breed and breed and breed, and then the thoughts of what was happening, and then when it happened, it still shocked you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the conclusion we knew was coming eventually, but then when it happened, it's like, it got you. Yeah.
And the good thing is, like, the throwing in the towel made sense because it was at a really vicious part of the match.
Yeah.
He'd been 40 minutes he'd gone at that stage. Blood pumping, like that version of the Lion Tamer was class as well.
Sick.
Like so you could actually buy into MJF just being a concerned corner man and throwing in the towel, like. And the three judges, Dean Malenko, like I've just loved it so much.
Him and Jericho.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and then they're referencing it on commentary. I love Excalibur. Excalibur is deadly. Like, the little nuggets that he puts in all the way through, like, and just referencing everything. I love it.
When he's not choking out Jimmy Havoc, like, he does it all, that lad. Let's talk about Moxley and Omega, because there's splitting opinions a lot of ways. Thoughts on that, guys?
Sorry.
Wait, what?
Sorry.
I don't really think it's splitting as many opinions as... I think a lot of it is where, like, a small minority says something and then people see that and then complain about that small minority, and then you think there's this big, massive divide. It's not really. I'd say most people are in the same camp I am. I thought it was deadly. I thought it was fucking great.
I don't know, like, I only saw it when I woke up on Sunday, like, because I couldn't stay up for all of it. I only stayed up for the first couple of matches. When I woke up on Sunday, I only saw complaints.
Really?
Yeah, like, it just goes to show the bubbles, like, you can kind of put yourself in. Do you know what I mean? But, like, I only saw complaints about it. And then I did start to see the backlash, you know what I mean? Because it was like, I watched the match and I was like, yeah, it's like, it did what it needed to do. To me, my only issue with the match was, like, I don't get why they were so mad at each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the one thing when it's, like, unearned kind of hardcore matches. You know what I mean? Where it's like, these two men are trying to kill each other. You really need to take me on that journey. Do you remember, like, and I know this is a match, like, this probably, is this your favourite match? Cactus Jack Triple H.
Yeah.
Do you know when they're killing each other and they're getting the barbed wire out? You've gone on that storyline journey with them where Triple H has reduced Mick Foley to nothing. And he's, like, ground them down and killed Mankind and buried him, and then, like, Mankind had to, like, revert back to, like, his old Cactus Jack thing, and then, like, so when he takes out the barbed wire, you're like, yeah, fucking kill him, fucking end his life, fuck him, you know what I mean? You're on that journey with him. So when they're doing, like, vicious stuff to each other, you're like, ugh, I'm totally here for it. It's the one thing the match missed for me, because again, like, what are they mad about? Is it because Moxley interrupted Omega?
Well, he assaulted Kenny Omega. So there was that, you know, like, to make a name for himself. And Omega's like, you're not going to make a name out of me. I'd imagine that's what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch it. I wasn't really closely following the builds because it's kind of a lot on, whatever. But, you know, for me, the main reason I loved it being the way it was is because of the whole unsanctioned thing. For me, if you want to have, like, an unsanctioned fight, it needs to be that bad in order for it to be that. Do you know what I mean? If you advertise an unsanctioned match to me and all I end up seeing is fucking steel chairs and, like, you know, the absolute basics, like, then you've let me down. You've disappointed me. I'm delighted this was violent. I'm delighted this was fucking gruesome, because it was like, that's what it needed to be. That's what Moxley brings to the table. You know what I mean? Yeah. Taking those violent matches and putting them on a massive stage like that. And I'm not, like, if people don't like it, like, I'm not saying you have to watch it and go, yeah, that was really nice. You know what I mean? But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, and I made this point on the Low Blows Twitter as well, where it's like, look, you can not like this. You can just not enjoy it. If this isn't your cup of tea, I get why deathmatch wrestling isn't for everyone. Do you know what I mean? I do. I totally understand it. Like, I'm not saying it's necessarily I'm a deathmatch guy. I can appreciate it, like, as we go on a case-by-case basis. For me, yeah, I got the business reason behind it. It's like, they're AEW are trying to make the point, we're an alternative, and you're going to see shit here that you won't see in WWE, and that was the point they were making. And they got loads of gifts from this match. They got loads of cool, memorable moments, like the mousetrap spot and stuff. They got loads of stuff that, on a wide scale, like TNT, and, like, with that platform that they're on, you're not going to see that shit in mainstream wrestling. Do you know what I mean? And that's what AEW should be for me, where it's like, here's the cool shit from the indies that, like, we think actually America's ready for as on a grand scale, you know. And that's what the match was, and it worked from that standpoint. I didn't, like, a lot of people are like, it was disgusting, it disgusted me. Dave Meltzer came out and kind of slated it, like, first time he's ever, like, properly criticized AEW. It's like, it was too much for me. I thought it was a bit disgusting at times, and I'm like, realistically, I didn't see anything disgusting in that match.
I didn't even think it was like there's been worse, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and I don't say that as in, I'm not, like, kind of being a snob, like, I'm not like, oh, well, they didn't. Yeah. I'm saying it in terms of, like, I thought, like, it was fine. I don't think the lads did anything wrong. Like, I think it was gruesome enough to make you go, oh, like, the barbed wire, them crawling out of the barbed wire and stuff like that.
Like, getting dragged to the broken glass and all that. Or,
yeah.
like, crawling to the broken glass to get to the rope and all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was, like, yeah, exactly. It was violent enough to more than hold up their end of the promise that it was going to be an unsanctioned, violent as fuck fight. And now when I see unsanctioned fight, I know what that's going to be next time, and I'm going to look forward to it. Yeah. And, like, and they got the lads for it as well, yeah, like the Jimmy Havocks and Joey Janela's and all them. That's going to be, and it's a whole, again, it's very much, it's like, if you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, you're not. But for me, it's like that's a whole other like division almost that I can look forward to now. Another style of wrestling that like I can't wait.
Yeah, so like I didn't see any problem with it. I thought job done, but there can only be. And I think AEW Full Gear, if we didn't split opinion so much, like I think it would have been number one because the highs were high. But I think there's only one thing we can talk about.
Main event. Let's go. Let's go. Dana Brooke versus Sarah Logan.
The big news of the week, and it was like a lot of people are giving out about this. Again, I spoke about this on Low Blow's Twitter, and I was like, there are so many people butting this moment. You know what I mean? And going, well, actually, and trying to find any negative with this. CM Punk came back to WWE this week. And when I read about it before I saw it, and I'm like, all right, yeah, well, look, he's only back on backstage. Like, it's not the comeback we kind of all wanted, you know, whatever. And I kind of had those smarky things. But then I watched the clip, and, like, I couldn't help. I felt it, like, in the moment when I heard on a WWE program and I heard Cult of Personality and he stepped out, and I'm like, okay, holy shit. Okay, this is big. This is mad. This is fucking mental. Like, what the fuck? For me, I felt it. I felt like, not even just saying like it was deadly. I'm just saying it was the weight of the moment kind of blew me back a little bit, because I'm like, this is surreal. When you think about the shit that's gone on a few years ago, the podcast he did, like Triple H or the WWE sacking him on his wedding, the lawsuit that was only a couple of years ago they had against each other, that it's like, it's not going to happen for fucking years until, like, do you remember Kurt Angle as well? Like, we're about 5 years away from it happening, and even then it was 5 years plus another 2 or 3 just to kind of flirt with each other. For it to happen so quickly and to see him on a WWE show is like, okay, right. And like, as well, what I love about it is it's pure like Monday Night War stuff. You know what I mean? Like, WWE are going to war. They're pulling out all the stops where it's like, you know, they're even trying to make backstage a show that you need to watch. They are flooding the market with WWE stuff where it's like NXT guys invading on this, and then we're doing this, and then on backstage we had CM Punk coming back. I thought it was a great move. I loved it personally. Guys, your own thoughts?
If he's not wrestling, okay, but yeah, that's a really anticlimactic like return. I didn't feel it at all.
Okay.
Like that's just like, for me personally, I don't know. Because you spend years waiting for that. You know, and it could still happen though. This is why I'm not mad about it. Like they could still do that big surprise pop. But imagine like there was no mention of CM Punk, and out of nowhere 2 lads are going at it, and he comes out and it's a big fucking pop, and you know what I mean. But then, and this is something I'm aware of. It's like he probably isn't coming back to the ring. Do you know what I mean? He probably isn't wrestling, and that's why he's coming back in that form. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't know. If I'm looking at it like from that point, I'll probably watch the show now. You know what I mean? So I can't it's a smart move. Because when they announced Ryan Satin, I'm like, I'm never watching this shit ever. And then they announced CM Punk, I'm like, I'm watching this immediately.
But like, here's the thing as well, though. Like, it's like, when you be realistic about it, you know, him just randomly coming back in the Royal Rumble is like,
so cool.
Yeah, that's the dream, where we're like number fucking 12 in the Royal Rumble, and we're like, oh!
3 is always the big one.
What? Like, yeah, but do you expect it? So if it was just something random, and it was just at the completely unexpected moment, and Cult of Personality hits, that's the dream we all have. Let's be real. That was never going to happen. The damage that they did to each other and the hard feelings, there needs to be like stages of this. And we're used to this where it's like someone comes back as a part of a WWE video game, and then that's how they kind of make eyes, and they kind of, you know, there has to be a bridge to build. Like, they have burned bridges with each other, so they have to start building somewhere. And this is how it starts. But if he still can't come back in the Royal Rumble, because in a couple months we're going to be like, all right, he's not coming back. He's just on backstage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it can still happen. That's why I'm not pissed about it. Like, I still think it can happen.
Exactly, and it will. Like, if he's not on WrestleMania either next year or the year after, I'm not saying wrestling, but like, he could special ref, he could do stuff. Like, there are things that he could do. He's definitely going to be on TV now. Like, this is a money move. Like, this, he's no personal reason to come back to WWE. This is he's definitely going to be on there somewhere at some stage. And that'll still work. Because in a few weeks, we're going to be like, all right, well, I guess he's not coming back. You know what I mean? We're all going to convince ourselves he's not coming back, and then he is actually going to be on Raw one day, and it's going to be fucking mental.
Actually, yeah, fuck it, I'm excited now.
Okay, your own thoughts on this.
I wasn't a fan of him when he left, so I really did not care about him coming back. I'm in the minority here.
No, that's fair.
I watched the clip and I was like, grand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, part of me was like, I think it is a waste of a pop, even if he's just coming back to backstage stuff. They could have done like a pre-tape for a live show just to get the crowd reaction. I felt it was just a little bit kind of awkward, the music playing, and then like Renee Young is clearly very excited this is happening, but no one is sharing her enthusiasm. Yeah, I don't know. It's a thing that happened. I just don't really have strong opinions because I'm not a big CM Punk fan.
See, I'm not a fan of the guy. I've been very clear on this. I think the guy seems like a dickhead. I've never met him, so I can't make up my mind.
I think he's deadly.
I could love him. I could love him in person, but I've never met him. But from what I see of him, I think he's a dickhead. He seems like a dickhead. But I also like his stuff. You know what I mean? I was a fan of his wrestling matches. Also, as well, here's another thing to consider. Do you know who else is a new analyst on Backstage?
Samoa Joe.
That's fucking cool. Like, yeah, it's a cool little thing. Anyway, look, it's a big talking point, and we'll see in weeks to come. Anyway, look, it's gonna Backstage now. It has our attention. Do you know what I mean? Like the shitty show that we weren't going to pay attention to, we're now paying attention to. Guys, we are just around 11 days away from the Survivor Series. Looking at the card, like, this is possibly WWE's best card of the year coming up to it. There's a lot of hidden bangers. Becky, Shayna, and Bayley. By the way, speaking of like people invading NXT, now people will probably have heard this show by the time it's aired. Becky's coming back on it tonight. Becky's music is going to hit on NXT. If not this week, then next week. Like, that's going to be fucking class. Calling it now. Becky, Shayna, Bayley. We've got Brock, Rey Mysterio looking like the Fiend against Daniel Bryan. Now, New Day against the War Raiders in Undisputed Era. New Day won the belts last week, of course. The three-way, I'm just like curious how a three-way Survivor Series match is going to work. They're going to have to like end it every second spot. Someone's going to have to get eliminated. That's 15 people in one match they have to get eliminated. And
but what side do you stand on? Like,
yeah.
That's all I'm thinking of. Like,
it's going to be like they're going to be
standing next to each other.
Yeah, they're going to be right beside each other. Like,
this is soccer.
Hold the tag rope. Yeah, it's going to be weird. But yeah, so it's looking good, guys, and we have a great party lined up. We have now announced that the Mid-Card Mafia are going to be our special guest hosts for Survivor Series. They're going to be doing the 8th annual Survivor Series quiz. They're going to be hosting it. Some very fun ideas. We'll be revealing more as time goes on. They're also going to be hosting a special live edition of Tough Enough where one of you is going to get to audition to be in the Mid-Card Mafia for one night only, live there. Also, we just announced today, we're going to be doing a WWE 2K20 tournament. If you find a glitch, you win. There you go. So there's a special challenge, right? WWE 2K20 tournament. Also win free drink. It's going to be a great night. Our last night of 2019. Please make it down, guys. We will have more to announce as the time goes on. So celebrate. What's been a great 2019 in general? Like, if you consider like all the Becky stuff we got to go through, it's been a great year. So guys, we appreciate you coming down and having a laugh, and we will make it worth your while. Katie, what are you up to? And you've got a plug?
This weekend I'm in Belgium defending my Queen of Extreme title.
Oh, you didn't get stripped?
No, they didn't strip me. I'm defending it this weekend. I'm a hardcore champion in Belgium.
Yeah, but they didn't strip you the title.
Yeah.
You were out for ages.
Yeah, there's no 30-day rules.
Yeah, I only defend it once a year.
All right, Brock Lesnar, calm down.
I'll also be preparing my application for the Mid-Card Mafia spot at the party because Dom Tuck hasn't been returning my calls. My application was sent back unanswered last time, so if you could give me some insider information on how I need to prepare, or... You know,
Ben Given got rejected from the Mid-Card Mafia. That's gas.
That would kill me, actually. Maybe I don't want to go for it because if the Mid-Card Mafia don't want me, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'm going to defend my title in Belgium instead. There we go.
Oh my God, bring over the Belgian Mid-Card Mafia like equivalent. And that'd be so funny. Like, imagine there was like literally an exact group, like a Belgian Devil
like,
West.
do you know, like in Shaun of the Dead, do you know where they like go past the other the alternative timeline of themselves?
Yeah.
That would be like there's a Belgian Mid-Card Mafia just walking past each other like, what the hell?
Are you saying I should start my own gang?
Sure, if you can find friends.
Do you want to be in it? Tag partner? You're my tag partner, so you're automatically in it.
All right.
Cobra Keen.
Yeah. I'm just really exciting digital skills assignment coming up. It's
Plug your college, yeah.
I'm gonna be doing some design principles and stuff like that. So that's gonna be some really, really exciting stuff. Really fucking exciting. I can't wait. I actually can't wait to go into that fucking class. I hate digital skills so much, man. I literally it's the worst subject in the whole course. I can't even begin to fucking explain. It's just horrible.
You need to figure out a way to make this into a video just to kind of like make it interesting for yourself.
If I have to make YouTube videos, because I've no time anymore, so if I have to make YouTube videos up until Christmas, it's going to be one of those shitty fucking vlog channels that just vlogs their daily life. Except there's nothing interesting happening. It's just me doing my fucking assignments. So, yeah, for those wondering why there's no videos, you know what I mean? It's, yeah.
He's preparing for season 3. There you go. Season 3 of Corporate Keen.
Yeah, nice.
There you go. Corporate Keen, follow him on YouTube. And also you get occasional Twitter rants. Follow him at Corporate Keen as well. Guys, we'll be back on Friday with the lads edition of Ask Low Blows. Corporate Keen and Rick Nash. We got away.
What happened when I was gone?
Lads.
And then we will be doing a special next Monday. Me and Katie Harvey are going to do a special American Horror Story themed episode of Nash ahead of the finale this week, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we'll be back next week looking at what's sure to be another fucking insane week of wrestling. We thought this was a quiet week and CM fucking Punk came back. In the meantime, guys, for Corporate Keen, for Katie Harvey, I've been Rick Nash, and that's the bottom line, because Low Blow said so.